Bonjour Haïti, tout Haïtien, tribo babo, et nous disons bienvenue sur 1804 Renaissance, show préféré là. Non, c'est Yvener du Roseau qui c'est collaborateur pour émission Assoya. Nous saluons tout côté où y Haïti et dans Diaspora et c'est dans toute Diaspora. C'est un plaisir pour nous capable de trouver la caillou quel qu'il en soit côté où y est dans samedi soir ça. Et avant de commencer, inviter amis, inviter famille pour capable chita sous chaise bas pour garder belle émission ça nous va porter pour asseoir. Donc avant d'aller plus loin, inviter collaboratrice particulièrement Guylaine Brutus pour rejoindre au studio. Assoya la Frisnel, il pas avec nous assoya, il a des difficultés, mais il va rejoindre nous semaine prochaine. Donc, Guylaine, comment y est? Ça qu'a fait?
Ça qu'a fait, Yvenet. Bonsoir. Bonsoir tout le monde qui a écouté nous à soir. Moins bien. En Angleterre, nous gagnons un jour soleil. Nous pas gagnons pile nan yo. Nous gagnons 4 non année. Mais je dis, c'était vraiment bon. Et, je suis content d'être que me rejoindre nous à soir pour une autre émission 1804, Renaissance.
Wow, si vous avez un jour soleil, Guylaine, pas un problème. Bon, ici, là, nous tellement gain soleil.
Nous avons.
Nous tellement gain soleil. Nous capables bail. Nous qu'importe monde qui va côté, pas un problème. Et pensez même inviter nous à soya capable voir soleil pour si c'est soleil ou manquer parce que nous pas manquer ça aussi ça même.
C'est ça, c'est ça.
Yeah. Donc avant nous mener inviter nous on nous fait causer tout petit des proverbes nous en Guylaine. Proverbe nous qui dit et ce proverbe nous gain déjà bat chien tant mettre li. Et qui dit comme ça bat chien tant mettre li. Ça veut dire que souffrir l'offre monde mal ou maltraiter monde et spécialement monde qui pas capable battre peut-être pas yo, qui pas capable combattre peut-être pas yo. Rete tant tout pour. Ou joindre.
Et c'est ça même, c'est ça même. Là, me
Et ou
penser
même
de ça, me penser.
des problèmes ça Guylaine.
Et il venait là, me penser des proverbes ça, me penser. Et tout le monde gagne en anglais, ça veut dire angel, guardian angel, cap surveiller yo, cap protéger yo. So, tout le monde gagne un gardien, un ange gardien, cap surveiller yo, cap protéger yo. So, là où maltraiter un monde, là où faire un monde mal, toujours connaît, gagne l'autre monde cap protéger. So, peut-être jeudi, peut-être demain, mais on va toujours jouer une réponse ou. And, yeah, so vraiment, voulez payer attention, j'en traité monde. Yeah.
Yeah, moi et de temps en temps et connexion à position aller tourner et m'pas contre ça qui fait ça.
Par contre, normalement en Angleterre, nous toujours gain.
Pas vrai?
Non, les doué bon. Pas de problème avec internet boy ici là, par contre.
Ça dit?
Pas vraiment gain problème avec internet boy ici là. Me connais pas dans même chambre toujours qu'on y est, peut-être c'est ça raison.
OK, les bon qu'on y a, les bon qu'on y a. Yeah. Donc non pas prendre le temps pour nous capable bring our guests, and tonight we have a special guest on our show. Let me go ahead and take the proverb off so we can introduce our amazing guests on the show this evening. So as I said earlier, we're going to have a great show for you tonight. So as you all know, this month and the rest of the year, We are talking about how we can build a unified Haitian community. So tonight, I'm really honored to welcome someone whose work not only groundbreaking but soul stirring. We're talking about Dr. Petrouchka Moïse, a cultural force, an artist, scholar, a visionary, as a professor, curator, and creative rooted, born in Haiti, in Brooklyn, dedicated her life to preserving and elevating identity through art, technology, and education. And she is the co-director of the Haitian Art Digital Crossroads project, which is a revolutionary initiative that is making the world's largest public collection of Haitian art accessible online, creating a bridge between memory and innovation. Her research, her
Beautiful.
artistry, and her leadership speak to the core of what we believe in here at 1804 Renaissance, which is reclaiming our narrative, uniting our people, and building the future we deserve. Dr. Moïse, welcome to the 1804 Renaissance. It's an honor to welcome you to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Welcome, Dr. Moïse.
Yes.
Welcome, welcome.
I'm so happy to be here. Really excited.
Very good. Good. Yes, we're so happy to hear you. We're so happy to speak with you this morning, afternoon for some people, and morning for some people. And we know when it comes to broadcasting, especially we have content on YouTube and all over. So we can't really say this morning. So someone who is going to be watching it later is probably going to be morning for them, and someone else is probably going to be daytime for them. So, so when it comes to the internet, it has no time. So
Yeah.
it's when you watch it. So whenever you watch it,
When you watch it.
bonjour, bonsoir.
Yes. Bonsoir tout le monde. Bonjour tout le monde. Salut la société.
Voilà.
Salut, salut.
Bon. Je dis salut la société a, me songe l'aime petit et c'est ton bagage me konte de gamon yo di en pile. Bonjour la société, comment nous y?
Yes. I feel like when I say it, I feel like I'm talking to our past, our present, and our future.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Yeah.
I like that. Bonjour la société, l'on dit bonjour la société.
Toute société a dette.
Ni présent nous, ni demain nous. Moi mais ça.
You can't leave the ancestors out. You know what I'm saying?
No, never.
Yeah. En parlant des ancestors, me songe longtemps les m'a grandi à Haïti et gon coutume, m'te kon jouer gan moun yo ap fait. OK? Et les ou levé nan matin avant yo levé à boire café, yo prend tasse café a, y a vire dans plusieurs coins.
J'étais glou.
Yes.
Ça c'est pour ancêtres yo. Vous comprenez?
Yes.
Ça son bagay, m'gè recommencer dans coutume ça, vous comprenez? Parce
Yeah.
que l'aime qu'on l'a fait, c'était l'aime de ti moun petit, m'pas ka comprendre ça. Vous comprenez? M'pas ka comprendre valeur en ancêtres nou yo et nous pas ka comprendre qui ça ancêtres te représenter pour nous. Mais qu'on a la grand, nous comprendre ça.
Et puis il venait ba qui pi belle là, c'est pas celle nous fait. Japonais fait et aborigine, indien, américain, tout le monde fait. Son bagay qui fait le monde entier avec religion authentique yo, religion naturelle yo.
And c'est pas même dans culture religion. I mean, growing up in Brooklyn, one thing we always do is pour one for our homies.
Yeah.
So, you gotta pour one for the homies. So it was just, it fit perfectly. And then when I found out that we've been doing it since the beginning of time, I was just like, oh, okay, let's keep it doing, So yeah, no, every morning, jeter de l'eau pour les ancêtres.
Well, then starting tomorrow, I'm gonna start jeter de l'eau for Dessalines, Toussaint, Pétion, and my dad.
There you go.
Definitely.
Be intentional.
Yes, be intentional, because once you have a family member that passed, they become your ancestors.
Yes.
Right? They become your ancestors. So yeah, so definitely much respect for the silence. So Dr. Moïse, so we gave a short intro about you, which I always believe the introductions that we make about our guests don't do much justice. So please tell our guests, who is Dr. Un pile moun ki pa gade show sa la, ki tan do parler créole, y a demandé si c'est Russian ou ye. Vous comprenez? Dis moun yo qui est.
Eh bien, non, nom c'est Petrouchka, vraiment c'est Petrouchka. So c'est un monde qui aime di blague kankou papam, kankou mamam. And the way that I ended up with a Russian name is when I was born, grand-mère te vle nom Ingrid, right? She wanted to name me Ingrid. My mom, she wanted to name me Gabriel. So they started an argument, and my father walked in, and yo di choisi. And he knows better than to choose his mother over his wife. So li di Petrouchka and li kite chamna. C'est ça. En final, Petrouchka petit lanye. And Petrouchka is a Russian name. It's a ballet written by Igor Stravinsky, and it means, in old traditional Russian, it means beautiful doll.
Oh, wow. It's a nice story behind it as well.
Petrouchka.
Yes.
Petrouchka.
Wow. Ça fait que Haïtiens non sont nation qui vraiment créatif. I mean, we get creative in everything. In our food, in the name we name our kids.
Non blague nous.
Non blague nous, right? We have to have a good story behind everything. We have to have a good story behind everything, yeah.
Very good, very good. So we'll kick this off this afternoon, and again, as I said, this afternoon or evening for some people. So to dive in our show, and we ask you to, if you haven't followed the show, please follow and like, and also share with your audience, so we can inspire more people, and also our content can be shown to your friends as well, and family members, and everyone who love Haiti, who love content about culture and history, because our narrative is to help reshape the narrative about Haiti. So with your help, we can continue doing that. We can continue to sell a better image of ourselves and our country. So, Dr. Moïse, you've described art as a tool to reclaim narrative and memory.
Yes.
In your view, how can Haitian art, especially in digital form, help bridge the gap between Haitians at home and those in the diaspora?
I think it has several. It's very layered. It's not like a simple answer in the sense of one thing that I feel that I'm trying to accomplish to do. In building the Haitian Arts Digital Crossroads project, when I designed it, there were several gaps, as you were saying, that existed within our culture. The first immediate gap was the fact of we don't know the amount of Haitian art that is sitting in public institutions in their permanent collection, right? I feel like as a culture, we take it for granted because we see it everywhere. It's part of our lives. It's part of our upbringing. It's part of our signature. And we don't see the level of, I would say, erasure or absence in the spaces that we belong in, And so for the first part of my project was definitely in the sense of helping people to discover that the largest collection of Haitian art outside of outside of Haiti sits in Waterloo, Iowa. They have over 2,000 pieces of Haitian art at the Waterloo Center for the Arts. And so my responsibility, after I finished my PhD at Louisiana State University, I won a national Mellon Foundation grant. And I came over as a postdoctoral fellow to design initially to how to digitize this collection, how to bring it to public access, because it didn't have a digital presence. When I came into this project and I saw my culture sitting in this very remote space compared to where the Haitian community is, because there was no Haitian community at all. This collection was not brought together because there were Haitian people in Iowa. It was all collectors who had donated to this one museum, and they got the reputation, and people just continued to contribute. So I was brought in to bring in the Haitian narrative. And so this was not near Brooklyn, not near Miami, not near Chicago, you know. So I saw it as we needed to bring the community there. So in the sense, my first mission was pèlerinage. We need to create a pilgrimage where people are coming out here to see this. The second bridge that I was hoping to do was close the gap between the diaspora and Haiti. A lot of the times when we are discussing Haitian art, we are only discussing Haitian artists that are coming from Haiti, usually around the time of Saint-Ouen, starting in the early 50s to now. And so it's also something very important for me as Haitian artists like myself, born in the diaspora, to be able to connect back to home. So I felt that this was an opportunity for us to educate those of us in the diaspora, and then for Haitians in Haiti to hear and see us, to see that we are trying to stay connected. Another thing for me with the website of how actually Haitian art speaks to our story is that we sometimes treat art as just an aesthetic tool. When we think about literature, when we think about dance, when we think about political science or history, right, we have a direct connection. But when we look at the visual arts, we don't treat it as a way to think about those subjects. And if you look at Haitian art, for me, it was very significant how the images in these paintings actually connected me to the narratives of my parents who came to the United States in exile. So when my mother would talk about an iguaz, and there's a painting that has an iguaz in it, now I can visualize what it is my mom was talking about. When my father would talk about Rivière Froide, and there's a painting about Rivière Froide or Sodo or Bassin Bleu, now I could visualize these places in that time when my parents were in their youth. So it was an ability to connect to those cultures and to those stories. And I think that the last thing that I was trying to also do is invigorate scholars to write more about the arts, invigorate artists to be better artists and write our narrative, to be better collectors, to be better stewards in the museum and the library space as we think about our narrative in the digital space. Because one of the things that is very significant when we're talking about data, when we're talking about preservation, when we're talking about technology, we have to have the right vocabulary to connect that work. Because right now it's all about the tagging. And if you do not have the proper tagging, you will not get the proper visual. And our language then becomes so significant because there are words that are used to truncate our culture, and we need those Creole words. We need Creole in the center of this conversation because that is how we connect to this. So I walked in with one agenda and I told these people, nah, I got 15. I have 15 agendas. So I ain't going nowhere.
It's very shocking to hear that. It's really shocking to hear that. And as you mentioned, when we look at Haitian community, nous pas ouais Iowa,
No,
nous ouais New
trust
York,
me. Nous ouais New
nous
York,
ouais
Miami,
Miami,
nous ouais
nous ouais
Montréal,
Chicago, nous ouais
Chicago,
Boston.
Montréal, nous ouais Boston, Washington,
Voilà.
D.C.
Yeah.
You know,
Ou
we
pas
don't
côté
see Iowa. Even myself, when I was awarded the grant, I was living in Louisiana. I was in the red beans and rice. I was in the Madiga. I was in the land of the Haitian people. And
That's right.
I was like thinking, I'm going to leave the cane to go to the corn. Pukisa. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like when I went from, and I grew up in Brooklyn. I lived in Miami. And when I moved to Louisiana, it felt so Haitian. It felt like I understood. Brooklyn was home. Haiti is always home. But Brooklyn was home because I knew my streets, I knew my places, I knew my place, my places. But I stepped in Louisiana, and day one, first somebody said, "How your mama and them's?" Okay. I know they call l'église lacaille. Same rules. I was like, I know how to move here. Their red beans and rice is our sauce poivre blanc. Chaque lundi,
That's right.
every Louisiana household, jus avec sauce poivre. That was like, okay, I'm not going nowhere. I'm here. And I was there for 20 years. But to come here, but to come here, and what made this so significant when I arrived, and I arrived in the middle of COVID, what made this so significant is that I have lived in this country for 50 years, and I've never seen myself reflected on the walls. So my identity was always internal. And the ability to now make this an external experience, it was a shy. I ain't gonna lie. It was very heavy. I think I went through a lot of existential crises. Like, am I Haitian enough to tell this story? And then at the same time, it's the scab of knowing that you had to come to this country, maybe forcibly acclimate or willingly acclimate, or just always going into spaces where you're not Black enough, you're not Caribbean enough. You're always having to prove the identity that you choose to represent. And yet it's not reflected because people don't see, they don't know what you're talking about. They don't understand, how your home life is. When I'm telling people I only spoke English when I was sitting in a classroom. When I go home, we're not talking English. We're not having the habits of an American. I can't go play outside. I'm not going to dance.
Dormi la kazami.
Yeah, no, you can't go. I can dormi kaimun. You know what I'm saying? These things that is in the landscape that we live in, but we don't live it. That's what I'm saying. We don't live it. So to have this responsibility to put a narrative on 2,000 pieces of art, for me, there was a certain level of anger I had to balance, Then at the same time, how can I bring this to my children? How can I bring this to my future grandchildren? How can I bring this, to my grandchildren? And how can I bring this to the future grandchildren I'll have and everybody else's? How can I honor my parents? Because they're the ones who gave me their stories, who gave me their existence. And I became the steward of that. So how do I honor them and then bring awareness? So it was definitely a task. But one of the things I said, I was not going to do this alone. So there's two things that I will always rely on. Two principles that we have. We have the principle of l'ACU, intergenerational learning and intersectional learning, and Combit, where we do collective work. And I knew that I was going to have to go back to our Haitian experts, our scholars, and create that space for them so they can come to with me and help me do this together. So in my effort, when you're kind of designing how are we going to approach this, it's not just taking the pictures. It's not just putting it in a catalog, right? You cannot use the way of the colonizer to decolonize space, first and foremost.
Ooh.
So,
Can you say that again, please, Dr. Moïse?
thank God I already signed the contract. No, for real. I said it day one. When we had, in 2020, when I came onto this project, we had devastating events happening across the diaspora. We had George Floyd. We had murders. We had disruption of our society, of our homes. And one of the things that everybody was talking about was decolonizing spaces, right? So that became like a hot, trendy term. And as people started saying, well, how can we do this? And I was like, well, first of all, we can't use the way of the colonizer. If we are going to decolonize space, we have to not use the way of the colonizer, right? And the way of the colonizer is that X is equal to one answer. The way of the colonizer is that we should only do things that can be monetized, right? If it's not making $1, it's not making sense. That's what we've all learned on the American landscape. It's like the pursuit of happiness, right? So for me, when I started to think about who is collecting our information right now, right? So the two gold stars was the Library of Congress and the Getty Foundation. These are the two gold stars of the standards of looking at Western provenance and the information that is collected.
Yeah.
And so in provenance, power is given to the buyer, not the doer, right? So we collect 7 lines of data when we're going into a museum on standard. So the name of the piece, the name of the artist, the measurements, the medium, who was the donor, okay? In majority of Haitian art collections, if the name of the artist, if the name of the piece is not known, the person who contributes it to the museum, the donor, can rename it, okay? If the name of the artist is unknown, unknown is acceptable in databases. Measurements don't lie. Math doesn't lie. Medium, they may know what we use, they may not know, they may leave that unknown. But what never goes unknown is the donor. So I wanted to go beyond provenance because I don't care who owned it. I want to know who is it. I want to know who the artist is. I want to know the community they came from. I want to know the materials that they had access to. I want to know the readings that they had influence, because when I analyzed it with the Haitian analytics, with Haitian intellect, those 7 lines of data can unpack to 128 lines of history that we can talk about. You may not know what it is, but if you ask a person from Latibonite about an artist from Latibonite, how and why and where did they make that, you can do tout bagay, right? But those buckets don't exist in databases. So I knew that even if I was able to collect all that information, where are we putting it? So I had to kind of go back, build a platform that I would create those buckets of information. And so my methodology is going beyond provenance, where we look at the 128 lines of data. We look at the object and the table by itself, of its materiality, of its history, of its presence. What is this piece talking about in the foreground and in the background? I'm talking about the artist, not just when you were born and died. I want to know where you grew up. I want to know where you were formally educated. I want to know your artistic paths, your journey. Who is your teacher? Who is your apprentice? Who are your colleagues? What co-ops did you belong to? What movements did you belong to? And today, what's your digital presence? Do you have social media? Do you belong to a group? Do you have a website? Where's your narrative? Right? Then, of course, we want to know what exhibitions has this one piece been in, because traditionally our art was relegated to naive and primitive. And that is a moniker that was given to us. And also we willingly accepted it because it opened doors. Okay. And of course, we're not going to rock the boat because it gives us an ability to be seen as modern and contemporary. However, when you look at a voodoo drum, it could be in an exhibition about women, music, religion, economy, all of those things. So our narrative is a lot more complex than naive and primitive. So if we are doing an analysis of how many ways we have been interpreted, and then how many books have been written about this, and I, as a professor, if a book is written in French and I'm teaching an English class, it's not that I cannot do it, but it is not encouraged that I introduce the French lit without a proper English translation. Also, schools are going more to the digital platform. So if you have a book that you've published that would talk to Haitian art, but you haven't set up the right kind of parameters for me to be able to use it in my classroom, I could get the book for myself, but I can't use it in the classroom unless it has universal rights. So that limits right then and there if we don't understand how we're going to keep this narrative alive. So I, in my effort, was like, okay, I created the 128 buckets. Now, I can't do this homework by myself. So we created the Digital Laku, where I invited 31 experts across the globe to participate in helping me to build this narrative, right? Because we need those principles. Because I wasn't going to, like I said, I was not going to use the way of the colonizer. So I used the way of us, the way of les ancêtres. I used voodoo principles and I used Haitian cultural principles of how we developed ourselves as a nation in the way that we are going to tell this narrative.
That is also brilliant. I mean, listening to you say this, and I've been in several meetings. I live in the UK, so I've been in several meetings with people who have said, "Oh, my grandfather owns a lot of this and he owned a lot of this and I have it now. What can I do with it?" And then I'm also in the same room with researchers on Marie-Louise and Wyoming Christophe and the connection between the UK and Wyoming Christophe and Pétion. The British Museum has articles, and items from Pétion age in the sort of warehouse or archives. They don't put out, but they have it in archives. Can you imagine during the Wyoming or during the early Republic how many institutions and how many families own articles or paintings or items or clothing? When the Wyoming Christophe ended, people just ravished the citadel and they took everything from there. And my mind is going while you're speaking about this. I know you're working in the US, and I'm thinking this needs to be something larger. This needs to be something where we collect and archive who owns what of the Republic, so that when we do have control of a governance, a governance structure that is legitimate and that cares about the Haitian people and cares about that we can reconnect these archives to our republic, because that's where it belongs.
It's not about when we can now. See, that's the catch. We can now through digital space, right? Because if somebody comes through Iowa, it wasn't going, I was in your neighborhood, let me come and say hello. You intentionally had to come here because I have to intentionally come here. It is not along the way too, right? That's why I said to create a pèlerinage, to create that kind of ability that if you cannot physically come, that does not discount you to the ability of knowing, right?
Yes.
It doesn't discount you from the ability of knowing. And my project started in the United States, but like I told you, they thought one project, I made it into 15 because now we are international. I am trying to find all institutions across Europe, South America, Caribbean, anywhere in any place that has Haitian visual art, right? And I'll show you how significant this is for me personally. As I was doing this work, my cousin reached out to me and said, I think we found a letter of General Moïse, right? General Moïse is my ancestor. And we have always had this belief coming from as early as my great-great-grandfather down que pour la famille Moïse, the land belongs to the people, right? Mm-hmm. The land belongs to the people. You are of service. If you are a Moïse, you are of service to the people, okay? Your job is to not sit on your laurels. Your job is to make your branch and make sure that you produce, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, fine. I, use my teacher credentials, fouye, and I reached this person, this man in New York, had a letter from General Moïse where he is buying land for his soldiers, right? Because that was the contention between Toussaint and Moïse. Even though Moïse was the more popular general, Moïse believed that man should not stay in the plantation system. He needs to have his own land, his own autonomy. So I bought the letter. I read the letter to see that very much so that we are still living these words, that I now have proof that this is what we are about. And
that's the problem.
I called my cousins. I said, yo, we got the connect, right? But it wasn't enough for me. I put it in the Grinnell Library. I want my students to also see this, and then the school, they leveled me up. They went and got the letters from all the first republic presidents of Haiti and during the revolution and everything like that. So that letter sits with the letters of Pétion, Toussaint, everything that we have now. And I'm like, okay, now let's grow this. Let's connect the art that reflects this. Let's find the images that talks about the writing. So that's what I've been doing. And we've been working with the Jacob Lawrence prints. We have a collection of the Jacob Lawrence prints because Jacob Lawrence, during the Harlem Renaissance, wrote a book about Toussaint Louverture, a children's book back in 1934. He painted all the pictures.
Oh, wow.
So to do that, so I just did a exhibition at the Waterloo where I took these 15 prints and I mashed it with the Haitian Art Collection. And I named it Fleuve, the Revolution of Freedom and Flow, because I wanted people to see that there are different artistic revolutions that have happened in Haiti and outside of Haiti in relations to how we impacted the Harlem Renaissance. That's what I'm talking about, leveraging. So we don't have to wait till then when we have a stable government. We can do this now. We can connect now. And that's what I'm asking scholars to help me do, is connect all these places. And I've been the Johnny Appleseed of everything Wapkon Haitian art for the past 5 years. Because everywhere I go on Instagram, Wapkon Haitian art.
Yeah.
So Dr. Moïse, so we're gonna go ahead and take a short break. Then we'll be back. But before we take a break, Marie Nadine Pierre asked you a question, and she wanted to know, was your ancestor the same General Moïse who was the General Toussaint Louverture's nephew? That's what Marie wanted to know.
The answer is yes, but here's the deeper tea. He was General Toussaint Louverture's grandson because his mother was Toussaint Louverture's daughter. But he would always be presented as my favorite nephew. Yeah.
Tonton.
Tonton. Vous connaissez. Vous pas le cheveux blanc. Pas So, yeah, that is the same General Moïse that you read in the Black Jacobins. Marlene Dot did a wonderful,
General Moïse in this book, right?
She gave me such details about my ancestor. And I so appreciate it. But yes, that's him.
Thank you, Dr. Do. So we'll take a break. We'll take a break right now, and then we'll come back with our second segment of the show, and we'll see you soon. All right?
Yeah.
Look, I'm Haitian. Yeah, I'm impatient. Yeah, if I want it, I'll go and get it. Yeah, with no hesitation. Yeah, never on time for the party. I'm always on time for the paper. Yeah, told you I'd be there by 9. I probably won't make it till later. Because I'm Haitian. They know I'm Haitian. Yes, I'm a Haitian. Yes, I'm a Haitian.
We must stay vigilant until we are free.
Well, I think right now, genre filmmaking is opening itself up to finding inspiration in culture. So we're just seeing filmmakers in the genre space going back to culture. So I'm inspired to do the same thing. So I just went out looking for my people, and I found them here at the festival.
Man, I feel great every single time. I feel inspired. I always feel inspired after every single festival. Just ready to see more work, and also for myself to do more work. Seeing it being done by Haitian people, by other people, lets me know that it's possible for myself, and it's possible for you as well too.
One of the things I like about the film festival is that you guys bring in the culture, and you can really feel the community of love and of the Haitian community. But to have the meaning behind it, when people come in, and even if they're not in the Haitian community, you can just definitely feel the love for the culture, and that's what makes it memorable, and that's what makes it impactful.
La joie, la mort, le désespoir.
What does that mean for the U.S. to arrive in a nation that was created by former slaves?
Almighty God is hiding in the cloud, watching us.
L'espoir fait vivre.
The ancestors are calling me into battle, Tabitha. This is for my baby, and this is for Haiti.
Because I'm Haitian. They know I'm Haitian. Yes, I'm a Haitian. Yes, I'm a Haitian.
The fellowship, people talking, watching these amazing films, and just to share with our community, for them to be empowered to deal with like difficult things that are going in Haiti and the beautiful things that are in Haiti, the complexity, you know, and that's what I really wanted to show, and it felt was successful. We have great filmmakers where their films are traveling abroad, internationally, locally, making an impact. So, you know, we're just going to keep championing Haitian creatives, filmmakers from the African diaspora. They're doing amazing work. We're going to have 2 days of amazing films here at the Bonsall Gallery Theater, and we're going to have films online. Come look at the best that we have in our community, and come see us.
Wow. Because I'm Haitian. Well, he's really good. I love that singer.
Oh yes, me too. And by the way, I am gonna be at this event on the 16th. So yes, definitely. And I'm gonna meet you for the first time in person. So
That's
we're gonna
right.
do some short
That's
interviews
right.
together.
Oh my God, I'm so jelly.
I know. Not just one second, poor Gillen. Live, right? Maybe you can watch live. Okay, we can watch live.
I'll watch it live. I have my organization is doing a summer camp for kids in August, so I can't move.
I see. All right. So kick us off, Gillen, with our second segment with Dr. Moïse.
Well, you know, Dr. Moïse is doing a lot of things that I love, and I've been very passionate about Haiti. I'm Capoise, so you know everything that entails, you know, when it comes to culture and recognition of culture. I have never lived in Haiti. So I think at the age of 2, I grew up in the Turks and Caicos. So I have always hungered for this connection. And I've always strived to create and to recreate and to find this connection. And living in the UK, I realized the connection. I've learned about the connection between the Wyoming Christophe and Wyoming, which is the United Kingdom. And I'm just fascinated by this. And this is where I'm working right now. So when you say that you're archiving all this stuff, and I think that's where my light bulbs went off, because Henri Christophe had like 3 bank accounts here, and we don't have this sort of governance structure that's looking out for these things. Like what happened to the money, and what happened to the art, and this Henri Christophe had all these things. The Citadel was decorated. Sans Souci was decorated. What happened to those things? And that's where my brain is. And I so love what you're doing. I love the work that you're doing. And I'm just hoping that more people do it. And my question is, where do you see this growing larger than where you are right now? Where do you envision this? Or have you thought about global connections? Because I know Wyoming Christophe had connections with Germany, had connections with Poland, and he had foreigners in his military. Where do you see this? How do you see this growing?
And I'm glad that you're like pivoting from Christophe, because the way that Christophe wanted everyone to recognize Haiti, not just as an island of esclaves, but as an island of culture, an island connected, and a way of celebrating all the 53 African nations, all the universality, because we were an island not just of voodoo. We had Islam, we had the Jewish religion, we had different cultures represented, and he did his due diligence. So I want people to not only see the modern, but I also want them to see the Haiti that of old, that started way before Dewitt Peters and Saint-Oda. And I definitely commend Saint-Oda and Alan B and his staff, Alan B. Augustin, who's the director now at Saint-Oda, and of what they're doing to stay connected and everything like that. I started off with the Waterloo, like I said before, but within my walking around and saying Wapkwan Haitian art, we've been able to partner up with 15 other institutions who are going to put their collection on top of the Waterloo. And my intent is, if you ever go to our website, the Haitian Art Digital Crossroads website, there's a map right now of where we've been able, with my students, been able to pin where Haitian art exists. I want to find all those pins. I want to bring us all to this platform that I'm building, because it's one thing to look at an artist one tab at a time, because maybe somebody will have one Joli Mot, somebody will have 2 Préfet Dufault. But if we're able to put all of Préfet Dufault's collection and see his trajectory, if we're able to compare a Basquiat with a Rosemary Desrousseaux and be able to see that, we're able then to have bigger conversations. So my intent is to, one, bring in all of the public institutions and work with all of the organizations to bring in this in a public space. And I've even had collectors who've come in and said, I want to work with you. I want to find ways of working with you, because I love Haiti. I love Haitian culture. I don't want this collection not to be known. So I'm working on ways of doing that. Also, I'm not working on being the only person in this space. So I'm looking for people who want to work, who want to learn. I'll be immortal once I cross the waters and become, myself. But until then, what we have to understand is it is stewardship. I am the keeper of my parents' stories. And I've been able to expand those stories. But I know that there are other griots like myself. There's other people who have that sense of responsibility. And we need to start investing on who's going to take care of that legacy. Right? Because we always say, si ou di dis moun, tout moun kone. Right? So if we bring in 10 people doing what I do, and those people bring in 10 more people, and those people did, we've got our army. And that's what Christophe did. Christophe built an army not just of defense, but he built an army of literaries. He built an army of visual artists to take note, to make history, so that we would not forget that this is what we are able to accomplish. Right? We know how many bodies it took to build a citadel, and it still stands today.
The only thing it stands today.
The narrative, right?
Yeah.
There's so many stories. When I found out that the waterworks, the system, the grounds at Sans-Souci still work to this day. That still has running water.
Yeah.
It. So those secrets of those masons pass on. Right? Pass on.
And it's amazing because at that age, when the rest of the world thought of you as cattle, this is what you've created. And that's why I love Royaume Christophe. And I think that's why every Haitian should try and study, because there were theater, there were plays, there were musicals, there were all sorts of things. When everybody in the rest of the world thought of your black skin as being something to be owned as cattle.
And see, here's the thing, like you said, what they thought.
Yeah.
Not what we know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So what they thought. So, I mean, I tell people all the time, it's like, what you see about Haiti is this loop of disaster, this 5-second segment of disaster. And no, you don't know the beauty of Bassin Bleu. You don't know the joy of going to Sodo. The things that whenever I started going home at the age of 2, and even a cachette, when Tonton Makuts were still in the street and everything like that. So definitely I'm aging myself. But when
we all are.
When we were kids and we had to just be really quiet, you know what I'm saying? When I saw Makut, I was so angry because to me, you were the reason I'm not home. You're the reason I'm not sitting with my grandfather, right? But that visual was not my reality. And so when I think about what people think about us, I ain't worried who bought it. I'm worried who owns it. I want to make sure who owns it. And we are the ones who are supposed to own it. I'm not gonna somebody in the diaspora doesn't we are not lazy. We are not. Look, anybody who had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday to go clean the house, and you couldn't go outside because you couldn't play until the house was clean, until mom was satisfied. The problem is we do not have the space, right? We've been kind of holding our breath. I could say like this is my personal experience. It was always, you're going to go home tomorrow. It's coming. We're going to go home. We're going to go back. So it was such a level of frustration growing up because I'm not part of this American landscape. I'm too far away from my Haitian landscape. When I go back to my Haitian landscape, I'm not there long enough. And then I'm getting tested. So you said, so I have to always prove when I'm in Haiti that I'm Haitian enough that I can say the number 8, that I can say the word water. So I was always living between the cracks of when do I get to go? and thinking that my talents, my time should only be expended when it's perfect. There's no perfect. What I had to come to the understanding is my mother and father's Haiti, as beautiful as it is, as beautiful as it was in their memory, is their Haiti. I got to make my Haiti.
Yes.
Right? So I'm building my Haiti. I go home. I mean, the last time I got to go home was 22. I was supposed to be home last year, but they shut the airports down. And I was like, okay, I'm going to hold on to this ticket. And then American Airlines said, nope, not plenty même. So, you know, I want to go back home. I want to make my Haiti. I was promised to go home. I was born intent that I'm going home. So I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm not gonna lie to you. I drank the Kool-Aid. I was like, yeah, I'm going home. And I'm still gonna go home. C'est moun Saint-Louis du Nord, moun Jacques Mel moyen, moun Kafou Frey moyen, Rivière Froide. I mean, like, look, for me, I'm going to make sure that my kids know that if I don't make it, dust me. Just me. Because that's what the intent is. This is what the effort is. So it's not that we're lazy. We don't know where to land and where to place it. But I've got to make it my Haiti. And I can't resolve on the 1954 Haiti. I got to see what this Haiti, what do I need in this Haiti? You know, what do I need it for me to do in this Haiti? So, you know, if I got to put it in the suitcase and bring it with me, that's what we were trying to do. Put the toilet tissue, put the spaghetti, put all of that until we learn how to pick from a tree and use a machete and open a cocoyer. You know what I'm saying? But we cannot go there with the ways of the colonizer, right? The colonizers got us believing that our comfort is more important than our truth. Okay. Oh, the comfort. There's no running water. Okay, make a well. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. Right?
Ben avec l'eau frette.
Lord. That's a mindset, right? Like, I know when I go home, I'm not going to feel warm water. So I just rush through the spigot. Like, okay.
I did that.
You learn. You know, like, you know what? I give props to every woman who drives in Haiti. When I see a stick, I know she a beast. She driving a stick on top of a mountain. Let's go. That's my goal. That's my goal. You know, so I think that what we need to do in the process is think about the world that we want to have, and let's go build it. You know, that's the way I'm seeing this database. It's the way that I want to look at Haitian art, the way that I was not allowed to look at art as a child. I want to be able to see our narrative collectively, not just one piece at a time. I want to be able to say our narratives.
Very good, very good. Very good. Oh my goodness. I this conversation is just so lovely. And my final question for you, Dr. Moïse, and I know this is not my final question, because on August 16, I'll have more questions. But in your experience as both an artist and an educator, how can we involve more young Haitians? As we know, Haiti is a young country, right? Is a young country in a sense. The majority of the people, they are young. So they're less than 30 years old, right? And especially the second and third generation diaspora in preserving and evolving the Haitian cultural identity. So how can we involve more the young Haitians?
I think that we have to, one is a stigma. There's a stigma around art. We don't teach art appreciation in primary, right? And if you do get it on, like in the diaspora, if you get art appreciation and you go home and you tell your parents about it, they discourage you. They don't see it as a tech, you know, we are so driven to steer our understanding towards technical skills. Like that is success. You know, doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, you know, I felt in the same trope. You know, I went to school for 4 years for architecture, where I realized I love the art. I don't like the business. And I would have been a great architect, but I valued stories more, the history more. I think the thing about it is, what I want our young people to know is that we are in danger. This is not just in the sense of, oh, we have to preserve culture because it's a nice thing to do. No, we are in danger of erasure. Because in a database, in the digital platform, the words that are associated, the words that are tagged to the visual is what will populate. And if we don't do our due diligence to put language, to put culture, to put identity in these art pieces that will go digital, they will be erased. In a museum, in a physical brick and mortar, if the building shuts down, they throw a tarp over it. When they reopen, or when there's a new director or a new staff, they take the things out and the art is still there. When you are building in a digital landscape, if I walk out, the codes walk out. Okay? God forbid something happens to me, then there's a loss forever. So the thing about it, that's what I'm saying, it's very imperative that I build the people behind me. And so if people want to understand the urgency of this, if it wasn't, I'll give Miami as an example. These are children, people who are consider themselves the Zoes. These are children who came over, their parents came over in trauma and did not want to speak about their experience in Haiti. So these kids only had the drapeau. They only had the flag. Then you l'école l'église la caille and the flag. They had no memory or no knowledge of Haiti, the land, the spaces that I can speak of. The level of pride to protect community that the Haitian community, the Haitian youth built in Miami during the late 80s, early 90s, pour protéger grand mounio, pour protéger chi mounio, because society allowed us to be under attack, and they picked on our elderly, they picked on our youth. Every Wednesday and Friday was a Haitian day. And when I lived in Miami, and I saw the youth who knew nothing of a land, but knew of a belief, protect and be villainized for doing it. So I raise my hats off to the power of the imagination. So I feel that our youth can imagine the Haiti that they want, the experience that they want, may they be here or there, of no longer being disrespected and no longer being erased. So I feel that if we want to talk about what we need to do for the next second and third generation, is one, we need to get our stories down. We need to write them. We need to paint them. We need to tell them. We need to record them. We need to pass it on. And we need to build on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely. I am 100% behind what you said, because I mean, I've finished high school in Miami, so I kind of had a short-term experience of the 1980s and the early 90s. And in the Turks and Caicos, it was the same thing, you know? I sometimes I sit down and I don't understand the anti-Haitian, you know, but then I had a parent, a mom that was, you know, pa okipe yo, konen ki moun nou ye, le nou te kon ap mette soulier, se pi ate yo te kon ap mache, se la kay nou yo kon ay achete rad, you know, I had all of this in my mom that taught me, you know, the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos, it was OCAP they went to for supplies. Yeah. And so I had that pride in me that enabled me to survive that Miami sort of anti-Haitianness that was going on. And I do understand what you're saying, and I do accept it personally, being, having the experience that I'm doing, and I'm doing this in the UK. I run a cultural organization, and Wyoming Christophe is like the center of Black Pride. When I talk to students, when I try to do summer clubs and things like that, Wyoming Christophe is at the center of it, because Black students are failing globally.
Yes.
And I think we kind of recognize this sort of individual success, but we don't recognize the holistic one, the collective one, the collective failure of this disconnect with culture. Right. Because culture is what you see the world, is the eyes in which you see the world. I think a Haitian linguist said that on an interview, is the eyes in which you see the world. So if you don't have that connection, you're blind, you're vent viré. Vous comprenez? Vent viré. Côté yo voyo ou point. So, and we need...
It was a crisis.
Go ahead.
When I didn't see myself for 50 years.
Yeah.
I'm an artist. I'm painting. I'm trying to.
I wanted to say that someone in the messages kept saying, she's an artist. We need to see her work.
So as an artist, the way that my process and everything, like, I was like, where am I getting this from? How am I seeing this? Because growing up in New York, when you are going to the Museum of Modern Art, or you going to the Museum of Natural History and all these other places, you don't see you. But there's something in you that is making you see the world a certain way. And when you're sitting in a classroom and your teachers are asking you to cite, and you don't have enough Haitian scholars to cite from because you don't know their books. You don't know there's, you know what I'm saying? So we need to connect the stories that made the visual, that made the behavior, that gives us a fierté. Because growing up in New York in the 70s, we were this small enclave, right? Everybody was like a hustle together. We didn't talk Creole in the streets. We didn't talk French in the streets. That was all home, and it was shocking for me to realize I was in a high school with Haitian kids, and we never told each other we were Haitian. We never said it. And we came back to our 35th anniversary high school reunion, and the people gave us the statistics, and they said the 35 Black kids we had in this white school, this white prep school, you guys made it all the way to graduation, right? And none of y'all dropped out. We started a class of 800 as freshmen. 535 made it to graduation, but the 35 never moved. We stayed. And then we found out the 35 of us were all Haitian. We never said it. So then they were like, well, what was it in you? We were like, Haitian parents. We could not go home, talk about we gonna drop out. We gonna transfer. They was like,
yeah.
Because we had that at home, like you had it at home, regardless of what they were doing. As much as they wanted to other us, we had an anchor somewhere else with our name on it. And that is the anchor we've got to give the diaspora.
Yeah, the cultural anchor.
That cultural anchor of wherever we go. And it is not to say that we only have this identity when we are in Haiti. I don't care if I'm sitting on a mountain in Tibet.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's right.
Regardless of the Tibetan culture, the American culture, the European culture, and we're open arm. We're not like, no, we are open arm. We are a giving culture. I will not be shamed by the kindness that we have shown the world. Now, we may be a little naive, but
very much so.
Never be shamed of the kindness that we have given other nations for the conversation of freedom. And every place else in the world has always seen this as our Blackness. Dessalines said this was our Blackness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It has never been. We are the first to develop Black as a construct.
Dis ça encore. J'ai oublié ça.
We are the first. To be Black is to be free. To be Black means to you resist slavery. So, maché. Anu maché. That's all I can say.
Aïe, aïe, aïe.
Hey, en allez.
I wish I could keep
Révolution mentale la commencé.
I know whenever you talk about decolonization, it's like, this is one of my favorite topics because I suffered from that. I suffered from mental colonization until recently I had to learn to liberate myself, to decolonize myself. And it's the hardest thing to do because certain things that you learn, this stuff you just stick in your head. It becomes
you're conditioned. Decondition yourself.
We're conditioned to villainize ourselves. We're conditioned, and the thing about it is, it'd be something if we couldn't trace where it came from. Right? We know where it came from. Right. We can trace our classism and our colorism to the Code Noir. Right? We could trace the villainization of voodoo to the 1860 Concordant. Right?
That's
the
right.
church comes in, the Catholic Church comes in and says, oh, if you want the US to do business with you, if you want Europe to do business with you, if you want the attacks to stop, then
if you want to have a priest, then because they didn't have a priest.
They said Haiti can't be universal. So they said Haiti's Catholic. Then they turn around and said our language is French. Then they turn around and said our school system can only be run by nuns and priests. So if we compare that to the Willie Lynch letters, right? If you compare that to the Willie Lynch letters, when they say how to make a slave, you take a man's family away, you take his religion away, and you take away his language.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the project was successful.
The project was successful because they could take the chains off and they know that we're still, captive in our mind. But that's how we started the beginning of the show. There's a lot of people who saw jeter de l'eau as an evil thing. But to me, it made sense growing up as a Catholic. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm watching the priest do it.
Why can't I?
Why can't I? I'm like, wait, why? Why can't I bless my home? Why can't if we're talking about saints, where's the saints and the ancestors? What's the difference?
Selective sainthood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to see, we've been doing us for the longest of time. Because as Haitians, we talk past, present, and future all in the same. And I give an example when I'm talking to scholars about the fact that I said I use voodoo principles and data in data navigating. In my data design, I actually use voodoo principles. It's not X is equal to one answer. X is equal to many answers. So I tell them, I said, every time you actually go on an Amazon thing, you are actually using voodoo principles. And they're like, what? And I said, okay. You go in and you shop around, right? And then it keeps the history of what you did. Then on top of that, you get to put that in a shopping cart. That's a porto mitan, right? So you're planning, you keep things on a shopping list that's future, past, present, future. Una ceremony while you're shopping. That's a voodoo principle. Okay.
Wow.
That's what it is.
And until we change our education system to include voodoo as a philosophy, as in the education system, I don't think we'll be able to create that sort of citizenry that can love the country and love its history and love its future, right? because we need to recognize the language that we've created, the culture that we've created, and we need to have a collective moral stance, and we can only get that from that sort of laku philosophy. We need to use voodoo as a philosophy, not the image of voodoo that we've been preached, the negativity. And I had a discussion with a friend of mine today, and she was talking, there's black magic and there's white magic. I said, just the term is disturbing.
Right.
What does that mean? The fact that you're using black as an identifier as yourself and also as an identifier as something negative, it's confusing. It's confusing.
And the thing is, the youth are asking the questions. I mean, the unapologetic approach that young artists are now showing up online, because before it was like pati mamam, pati papam, no ceremony, I'm going here, I'm going there. But now it's like it's live and it's shared. And like I went to my first Gide ceremony online, and I actually took my audience, my Instagram followers, and I said, look, I don't know nothing about Gide, but let's learn together. And I made it an educational thing. And I was like, okay, let's see how we could do Gide in Walmart, make it real. Because I was like, what's up with these colors? What's up with this? What's up with that? And what did we learn? And why did I not learn this? Let's question that. Why did I not learn this? And then, we just demystify this situation. And nous pas besoin what? We do not need to be ashamed of discovering this. And when you said, how do we create this laku, this voodoo principle to the point of the pedagogy of this is where we have to understand what the colonizer has shown us is that there can only be one. That whole concept of only one. Whereas the laku says you can learn from all. Right? Même façon ou ka apprendre dans mes grand monde ou ka apprendre dans mes petit monde.
Oui. Tout le monde gon
right? And so that is where, to be able to understand how we have been made to isolate our thinking. Like, oh, if I come from this school of thought, this is the only way I can see something. No. If we want to really make it intersectional, intergenerational, we have to understand what are the true principles of voodoo. And that really, voodoo does not knock anything else out.
It's so inclusive. It's the most inclusive spirituality, religion.
Right.
Yeah.
And we see traces of Teano because the Poto Mitan is coming from the Teanos, right? We see Islamic influences. We see Judaic influences throughout history.
And sexuality is fluid.
Right. It's very fluid.
There's no hierarchy in Vaudouism.
There's no Adam and Eve story.
So when you said voodoo does not knock out anybody, and I was thinking, in my 45 years on this planet, I've never seen someone knock at my door and say, hey, do you want to accept voodoo as your personal savior?
It's a way of life. It's not it's a way of life. It's a decision. Yeah.
This is
I've never seen that before.
I heard a joke. This is a joke, so I'm trying to offend anybody. But the joke was Christianity is the only religion that thinks that Jesus needs help. Like that Jesus needs help. Like, I'm here on the name of. Really? He got this, right? I think that people sometimes try to get away, like you said, magie is a white man, is a white man's creation. It is not ours.
It's not ours.
Voodoo is respecting the universe, respecting the laws of nature. Si vous faites bon à privé, si vous faites mal à privé. C'est comme ça lié. You know what I'm
Et puis,
saying?
c'est même bagay avec toute religion naturelle, yo, American Indian, yo, Aborigine, yo, tout.
It's like you do good, good will happen. Do you do? And the thing about it is, it's not, oh, this bad happened. Oh, I must have done this. No, we are part of this. We are part of all of this. And when you have that understanding, then that it's not you, it is not a shame, it is not this blight. It is just the beauty of understanding that life is birth and life is death. We see this cycle, right?
And we see it in our art as well.
We see it as our art as well. So when I looked at the season of Get It, I was like, of course, it is the closing of harvest. It is not this Halloween theme. It is the closing of harvest, is celebrating the work that we have done. It is celebrating the harvest that we have done, the things that we have accomplished. And then at the same time, we prepare for next season. We plant the seeds, we plant the ideas, we plant our hope, and we watch that grow. And we prepare for that and we make that. So there's a sense of ideas, but maintenance, preservation, and sustenance, right? And what we have to learn, I think another thing is, which is another part of our Haitian culture, is craser briser. We have to learn that we don't have to burn everything down. We have to learn to rebuild. We have to learn to be sustainable
and preserve.
Yeah.
And I think speaking of
some belle show as well.
I know. Speaking of, I mean, I just don't want to leave. I'm sorry, I just don't want to leave. I don't want to go. And speaking of, I know it's probably 2 a.m. for you. We'll let you go in a minute. So, and I think the oppressor realized how voodoo philosophy can really liberate Haiti. And they saw that. And they said, like, you know what? We had that chain in your feet. Nous te gen chada na pied. Kounya la, puisque ou batay ou etiye chada na pied, we're gonna put that chain in your mind.
In your heart, in your mind.
Christianity is that chain. Religion is that chain that we have in our mind. Because how you gonna tell me, you know, you give me everything that I used to practice is wrong, is dirty, is this and that. And you're presenting me a God. And you said that this God created the heavens and the earth. He created everything we see and everything we touch. And you're saying that God is omnipresent and he is omnipotent. He was there before, he's there now, his goal is gonna be there. He could see everything. He knew you before he formed you in your mother's womb and all of these things. And you're saying that God could not write a page himself, that somebody else had to write those pages for him. Come on.
Okay. So I'm going to flip that on his head and giving your same example. Everything that they gave back to us, we gave to them first.
Okay.
Parce
que même Jésus, c'est dans Northern Africa. Yo dit comme ça, pas mettre, yeah.
Everything that you just said, who taught them that? We did. Why? Because all of that omnipresent, c'est ancestre, c'est loi, c'est bon Dieu.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, what people seem to forget is that regardless of whatever faith a Haitian person is, and nothing against the Protestants, Catholics, Muslims, Jewish, we are the most spiritual people ever known to man. Okay? We are the most spirit. Whatever we do, we go in head first. We deep dive in anything and everything we do intentionally, right? And we're people who, when God said, 3 or 4 of us in the center, I'm in the middle. I could tell you, I have watched my mother grab Krishna, rabbis, everybody, and she gets everybody in the prayer circle. You know what I'm saying? Because we believe in that higher power, regardless of whatever we want to call it. And we believe that we have that responsibility and that legacy to ourselves and our families.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
And your legacy is archiving this art, is trying to collect all this art and put it together so that we can have something tangible, visual, so that we can see. Oh, thank you so much.
You had a very engaged audience today. Man, thank you, everybody. Jaquil. Man, you had people, you had Jaquil, Marina Dean. You had a lot of cheerleaders here. In addition to that, we had there was another Dr. Raphael. He was there. He was sending flowers to you. And oh my goodness, I have so my cousin's here too, Sandy. So you had so much love, so much flowers.
Yeah,
and
especially Jaquil. She's an artist. She's an artist. Her artwork is.
I know. So very good. So thank you so much. It was just such an honor to share the stage with you. And
Thank you.
And I mean, I've been enjoying your talk since the pre-interview, and I was just bragging about it, telling Gillen and telling Frisnell, man, I'm just so looking forward to this interview. The moment, even though you were tired or sleepy, you're gonna get energized. And I mean, I just told you, I just came from work, and now I can start another shift. With no problem.
I should cover.
I can't.
So thank you so much.
I'm yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Gillen.
I'm just happy that I think I'm really proud of 1804 Renaissance meeting and interviewing these amazing people that in the diaspora that have shown us that they're continuously working for the benefit of Haiti. And they're not asking to be magistrat or sénateur or president. They're working within their field, within the spaces that they occupy, to improve, the image or the idea or the history or the perception of Haiti. And I'm just so blessed that I get to meet beautiful people doing brilliant things every time we get an interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been my honor.
Thank you, Dr. Moïse, and thank you everyone for continuously showing us your love. And thank you, and continue to share our show, share our content on your Instagram, on your TikTok, on Facebook, and LinkedIn, and wherever you're watching us. Remember, our liberation, our freedom start with changing the way we think about ourselves, not the way we're told. Not the way we're told.
Yep.
And thank you, and see you next week. Oh, actually, next week, I'll be in LA.
live podcast.
Not next week.
Oh, the week after we'll be in LA. The 16th.
Right. The 16th.
Yes, the 16th. Yes, the week after we'll be in LA. So we'll be doing some great shows in LA. Yeah. So I can't wait to see you guys again. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you again, Dr. Moïse. Thank you, Gillen. Frisnell, shout out to you. You can't be here today, but you can watch the show later. All right. All right.
Bye-bye.
Love you, Haiti. Haitians and Haiti. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.